Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Games I Speak. I'm Geo, and before we begin, I just wanted to say if you like this episode, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It'll really help us out. And with that said, let's jump right in. Uh, so the big news this week was the Nintendo Switch Direct. Um, there was a lot of announcements. This was actually a pretty big Direct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go through each thing, but then I'm going to break off and cover certain things in more detail, um, mostly the ones that I found interesting. So first up, we have Nintendo Switch Online. The service is now being expanded to cover Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis games. The first launch lineup of N64 games is Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Sin and Punishment, Dr. Mario 64, Mario Tennis 64, Winback, and Yoshi's Story. They're announcing some upcoming games as well. And for Sega Genesis, I'm not going to go through all of these, but some of them are really good, like Castlevania Bloodlines, Gunstar Heroes, Musha, Rise Star, Shining Force. So those are some of in Streets of Rage 2. They all look pretty good. Um, so the first one of the first big games that they announced is Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So let me pull this up. So it's been a while since there's been a fully fledged Kirby game. So this game is a little bit different from other ones in the fact that it is an open world game, as they say. So you can go around, travel the world, explore. Um, it has all the same mechanics that you would expect from a Kirby game, and it looks really cool. So let's take a look at some of the details here. Um, it releases spring 2022. Copy enemies' abilities and use them to attack and explore. Explore a mysterious world with abandoned structures, remnants, and past civilizations. So, yeah, this one actually looks pretty cool, and I'm actually interested in playing it. Next up, you have Bayonetta 3. So this is the official Platinum Games site. Um, so it's been a while since Bayonetta 2. Um, so a lot of people were, waiting for this game. Um, and the fact that it's coming out or it's been announced, a lot of people are excited. Um, this is the kind of trailer playing in the background. Um, so, I mean, the game looks pretty good. It's Platinum Games, so I'm definitely gonna play it. They're pretty consistent with their game development, so I would expect this to be a really good entry into the series. So let's take a look at some of the details here. Um, so this is coming out in 2022, so it's coming out next year. Um, there's a message from the executive director, Hideki Kamiya. So let's read that. um, Sorry to have kept you all waiting. It's been about 4 years since the announcement back in 2017. We really, really kept you waiting. In those 4 years, I'm sure people had a lot of concern, like what's happening with Bayonetta 3, and they are really still working on it. And when are we going to get some more news? But just as much as everyone wants to see Bayonetta 3 as soon as possible, all of us are working on it, have been burning to show it off, and just as badly. And without being able to hear any cheers from fans, we buckled down and kept working for 4 years. Now we've finally been able to show the fruits of our labors, and the team can finally breathe a sigh of relief, and we'll be able to concentrate even harder on our work. And it's been a long 4 years for us too. So yeah, there you have it. They're excited. He goes into some kind of details here, and one of the kind of I guess you could call it like an Easter egg, was that at the end of the trailer, there was a mysterious figure. Here we can pull this up, where it kind of looks like a Devil May Cry type character. So yeah, people are looking forward to finding out who that is. Okay, let's continue here. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. So there's not really much known about it so far, that it's the first major DLC expansion for Monster Hunter Rise. Now, I am a Monster Hunter Rise player. I will be getting this day one. So they've added new stories, locales, and monsters, as well as newly added hunting actions and quest rank. It's scheduled to release summer of 2022, and I guess they're going to be revealing more information about it moving forward. They showed more information about Splatoon 3, which is scheduled to release in 2022. It looks really good. Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars. This looks like a classic turn-based RPG, but done in a card game format, which is very interesting. I definitely want to see more of this. Chocobo GP. This is your standard, Mario Kart clone. This is launching exclusively for Nintendo Switch in 2022, and it will have up to 64 players completing in a bracket-style tournament to determine the racing champion. I mean, 64 characters is pretty crazy, and you can use all the different magic from the Final Fantasy series, so that looks cool. Triangle Strategy in February, Square Enix sent out a survey for the demo version. Since then, the developers have been updating the game with a focus on adjustments to the difficulty as well as improvements to on-screen visuals, camera controls, and the ability to view past conversations. So this is going to be releasing on March 4th, 2022. ActRaiser Renaissance. This was something that really caught me by surprise. I'm going to pull this up. So this is a game that I played originally on the Super Nintendo. Actually, I'll be honest. I played it on an emulator because I didn't have the Super Nintendo as a kid. I had a Sega Genesis, and I believe it was Josie, the my co-host. He told me to play it a long time ago, and when I did, I was blown away by the game. So I the sad thing is I didn't beat it because when I got to the last boss, I kept dying, so I just quit in frustration. But seeing this kind of renewed my interest in the game, and the trailer looked pretty cool. As you can see here, I mean, it looks like new HDR assets, new animations, um, but still the same core gameplay that you love. The town sim builder plus the 2D side-scrolling action game. Um, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the reception on Steam, because the game had it kind of shadow released during the direct, so a lot of people already bought it and played it. So I'm gonna read uh, this one here. This game was quite a surprise, and I'm glad to say it's not only a very good remaster of the original game, but it also adds so many gameplay elements, so much content. It's hard to say it's not worth its price. The new tower defense ish segments are really fun and a great addition to the game. One thing that is kind of weak is the action platforming segments graphics, which are a weird style of pre rendered sprites and backgrounds, but even that grew a lot on me. It reminds me of the late 90s, and it's not that ugly in action. If you played the first game and love it, this is well worth the price. If you like action platformers and city builders, but don't know the series, it's also worth checking out. This is just a fun solid game. But then we have another one here. I'm sorry, but this just doesn't feel right. It looks like a mobile game, and I would have let that slide if it wasn't for the fact that it has a lot of screen tearing and it doesn't feel smooth at all, even at 250 frames per second. I tried everything: 60 frames per second, 120, 144, VSync off and on. In spite of having a 144 hertz monitor, I've never seen a game being so blurry in movement at such a high frame rate. Not to mention the price, which is not exactly cheap. I love the original, but I can't bring myself to play this in this state. So, unfortunately, there are some issues people are reporting with the Steam version. I do not know if that carried over on the Switch version. So I would say look at all the versions before you buy and get the best version to the to which consoles or platforms you have access to. Dying Light 2 Stay Human Cloud version. Um, Master both parkour and tactical combat to survive this brutal open world action RPG. Explore alone with up to 3 others in online co-op. Unravel the dark secrets in those in power. This releases on the Switch February 4th, 2022, and there's a free demo for the game will also be available on the same day. Um, the prequel, Dying Light Platinum Edition, is also coming to the Nintendo Switch on October 19th. Deltarune Chapter 2. So I never played this game. It looks pretty cool. So Chapter 2 is available as a free update for owners of Deltarune Chapter 1. Animal Crossing New Horizons, they're going to actually be having a Animal Crossing Direct, and that'll be in October. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity Expansion Pass DLC. This is going to release on October 29th. The second wave of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity Expansion Pass content arrives with new playable character duo, Pura and Robbie. We can actually pull this up. So yeah, this is going to be selling for $19.99. I have not finished the game yet, so I'm going to hold off. But here are the new playable characters, Pura and Robbie, plus one more. So new story, battle for Kakariko Village, battle of Gopanga Village, and more. So new stages, Coliseum, Lana Rue Road, and more, and more added features. So yeah, this is cool. I'm glad they're upkeeping this game. So the Final Fighter and Smash Bros. Ultimate is going to be revealed on October 5th. So that's it. That's going to be the last character for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So you're going to want to tune into that if you're interested in the game or you are a player of the game. Mario Party Superstars. So it's almost time for Mario Party Superstars, which launches for Nintendo Switch on October 29th. So yeah, it's going to be a new Mario Party game. In addition to the main Mario Party mode, which will see the return of several classic boards from the Nintendo 64 era, including Woody Woods, Yoshi's Tropical Island, and Horrorland. Mario Party Superstars will also feature the mini game mode Mount Minigames, which include the competitive survival course and cooperative multiplayer course tag match. Okay. Mario Golf Super Rush DLC. More free content is coming. 2 new playable characters, Koopa Troopa and Ninja. In addition to these characters, new courses will be added: the snowy, blustery basin and the desert set Spiky Palms, as well as the ability to change the difficulty level on CPU opponents. So yeah, that's cool that it's free. Disco Elysium: The Final Cut. For those that you don't know, this is an indie game that has been out on PC for a while. This game got Game of the Year for many people last year, so it's definitely worth checking this out. It is a kind of detective RPG, and it launches on the Switch October 12th. the physical version of the game launches in early 22. So that's probably what I will be getting. I already have the PC version, but I would love a physical version. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is launching on November 11th on the Switch. Honestly, I don't know if I would play it on the Switch. It's probably better off playing the original on PC. Castlevania, and also, the fact that they're gonna, is it a remake or a remaster? I don't know. They're working on a new version of the game. So, Castlevania Advanced Collection. Let's take a look at that. So, this is something that Josie and John, they were looking forward to this. We covered last week that the game was rated again for the third time. So, it has been confirmed. The game is coming out. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely something that I'm looking forward to. Um, and let's take a look at some of the features here. So it's going to have 3 games from Game Boy Advance and 1 from Super Nintendo. It's going to have Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow for the Game Boy Advance. I've played Circle of the Moon and Aria of Sorrow. I have not played. I've probably just played Harmony of Dissonance just to check it out. And Dracula X is a reimagination of the cult classic game Castlevania Rondo of Blood, which was hard for a lot of people to get. So yeah, this collection. Me and Josie said last week we are getting this collection, but we want a physical version as well. So yeah, this is looking really cool. I think a lot of people are going to love this collection, and a lot of people who weren't around during the Game Boy Advance era, so they're gonna love these games. Um, so let's go back here. Disney Magical World 2 Enchanted Edition. So this is a Disney game. I believe it had Bandai Namco on the trailer. So essentially, spend time with Disney friends, craft whimsical costumes and furniture, and explore delightful Disney-themed worlds. All downloadable content from the original Nintendo 3DS version will be included in Disney Magical World 2 Enchanted Edition. Launches this holiday season. Shadowrun Trilogy. Cyberpunk meets fantasy in this 3-game collection of cult classic RPGs. So this is releasing in 2022. Shin Megami Tensei 5. This is coming out exclusively for Nintendo Switch on November 12th. Rune Factory 5. Players, this is a sim game, I believe, and this is launching on March 22nd next year. Arcade Archives Pac-Man, Arcade Archives Xevious, 2 classic Namco games, and these have already launched. With that being said, let's go to the last main thing that was announced during the Direct, and that is the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So a lot of people were. I had friends who were kind of hating on the casting, but I'm gonna tell you 2 characters that I think were cast like perfectly. And Chris Pratt was not one of them. I can tell you that much. So here we have Anya Taylor-Joy, Princess Peach. I've read her name Anna and Anya, but here it says Anya. So she was in that excellent show Queen of Gambit. Great actress. It'll be interesting to see her as Princess Peach. I don't know if she can do the over the top, acting required, but or voice acting required, but we'll see. Chris Pratt as Mario. So this is the one that threw everyone off guard because you don't think of this guy as a goofy character like Mario. Now, he has played goofy characters in past, like Andy on Parks and Rec. And of course, Star-Lord was a pretty goofy character. But lately, he's been in a lot of more like macho action roles. So it is kind of weird. His voice can get high pitched, but a lot of people were just wanting the original voice actor. They said he's going to be part of it, but we don't know what. So, yeah, Chris Pratt, just kind of random, but a big star. A lot of people like him, so he might draw a lot of eyes to the film. So, Charlie Day as Luigi, I think this is one of my voice casting that I think is a good one. If you haven't seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, crazy, crazy show. Hilarious show. I love it. A lot of people hate it because it's so over the top cringe, but he is awesome at playing this goofy, weird, cringy type character, and I think he would be good. I think he's going to be good in Luigi. And then, sorry, this thing's okay. This is the one, Jack Black as Bowser. Now, I think this is the best voice casting in that was announced for this movie. Jack Black is so animated with his voice. If you've seen any of his movies, School of Rock, Tenacious D, Lucha Libre, I mean, this guy is his range of characters, his range of voice is amazing, and I think he's gonna. It's like when they cast Jim Carrey for Sonic the Hedgehog as Dr. Robotnik. This, I think, is at the same level as casting Jack Black as Bowser. I think this is an excellent casting. Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Honestly, I don't know how this is going to work out, but we'll see. Keegan Michael Key as Toad. Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong. Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek. And Sebastian Maniscalco as Spike. For those of you that don't know, Sebastian is a very, very popular comedian. He's not a household name, but this guy sells out arenas. So definitely expecting good things from him. So yeah, I mean, that's it as far as the Nintendo Direct. It's there was a lot of surprises. There was a lot of things that I was expecting, but yeah, I thought overall great Direct. It's going to be hard for them to top ones like this that have so many announcements, but yeah, I really like this Direct. Okay, so let's. I have some more stories we're going to cover today. So let's jump into the next one. I'll try to keep these kind of brief. But yeah, there was a lot of other news I wanted to cover. All right. Sony fixes PS4 internal clock battery issue with firmware update 9.0. So there was a really good video done by Modern Vintage Gamer that I saw early in the week. I don't know if you haven't seen our past shows, we covered this extensively. Essentially, what happened was in the PS4, if the CMOS battery died, you couldn't access your digital content, and you couldn't even play certain disc games online. Like you had no access to the online store, and you had no. Yeah, you couldn't even play games offline as well, digital games. Um, and I don't remember 100% if you could play disc-based games as well. But I know the main issue was you couldn't access your digital games and you couldn't access online play. And it had to do with the fact that they didn't want people hacking the trophy system. So, Modern Vintage Gamer, he uh, he did a test where he took his CMOS battery out. He ran. He tried to play a game offline. It would not work on his PS4. He then updated to the newest firmware, and then he could play the game. So he confirmed that it worked. Um, I think this is an excellent sign by Sony that they're listening to fans. And also, you don't want to just brick a generation of consoles. It's just, it's so wasteful. It's so wasteful. We don't want to just uh, like use security and DRM to just trash perfectly usable consoles. It's just wasteful. Next up, Apple bans Fortnite from App Store during Epic Games legal battle. So last week, Josie kind of did a recap of what happened. I'm just going to do it again. Essentially, what happened was they've, originally Epic Games tried to install a third-party store in Fortnite on the Apple Store. And Apple retaliated by taking the game off. They've been in a legal battle ever since. The judge recently ruled that because Epic wasn't like upfront, I guess, with them like adding in the third party store, and they wouldn't like share the code or something like that. Um, they had to pay a fine to Apple for the time that they did that. But moving forward, Apple legally cannot stop developers from putting third party payment systems in their own app. Like Apple has no jurisdiction over what third party payment systems people should be able to put in their own game. And so me and Josie kind of agreed with the statement or the ruling, but now Apple has decided, hey, guess what? We're going to appeal, and while we're appealing, we're taking Fortnite off the Apple Store. And if you have Fortnite already, you're not going to be able to get any updates. So they've essentially killed Fortnite on the Apple Store. And now they're planning to do legal appeals for the foreseeable future. It could be 5 years before this thing is wrapped up. So, yeah, just very aggressive move by Apple. They're basically declaring war on Epic Games. So now we have to wait and see how the appeals process goes. I'm with at this point I'm with Epic Games now. It just seems overly aggressive for Apple to try to prevent people from installing their own payment services in their own software. I don't agree with that at all. Especially if you're maintaining and paying for the payment service, you should be able to put it. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But it's an ongoing battle. Next up, so this is an article by Eurogamer. It should take a Halo Infinite player 16 through 18 hours before they run out of daily challengers. Good progress. Wow. So there's a lot to be said here. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of talk about, why this is a big problem. But let's read of some of what they said. 343 said it believes that on average it should take a player 16 to 18 hours of playing and eventually winning before they run out of daily challenges. Of course, this is going to be an area the team monitors closely, and adjustments could be made if necessary. I can't even. Junizek said. While we understand the community's feedback around wanting a steady drip of match XP and more ways to earn XP for the Battle Pass, we are optimistic that the system available at launch will give players adequate means of continually having something to accomplish and a means to progress. Looking further ahead beyond the launch, we expect these systems to evolve in direct partnership with player feedback. That's that. than for the daily challenges, but it's worth remembering that there are weekly challenges too. There are usually more directed and specific while offering more XP in return compared to dailies. Each week, players will be randomly assigned approximately 20 weekly challenges out of a pool of several hundred. One of the concerns players had about progression was challenges would encourage players to play in specific ways. 343 said the weekly challenges a player gets are unique per player. So while there may be some overlap, in general, players won't all be chasing the same specific challenges at the same time. Yeah, right. There's only a pool of 100. What do you expect? Half of the people are probably going to have the same challenges. This means that it is extremely unlikely that everyone in the same match will need the same get X kills with the S7 sniper. However, the total amount of obtainable weekly challenge XP is the same for every player. So, yeah, this is let's go to this one comment I found that pretty much sums up how I feel. Okay. This is from This Way Out. Whatever happened to just playing a game over and over because it was fun? If it's fun and the battle passes don't expire, does it matter how long it takes to level up? Whenever I find myself getting sucked into trying to do the Fortnite challenges for the XP, it so soon tips from being fun to being a chore, and I play badly as my focus is not on the game but on the grind. But that game has deadlines. This doesn't. So isn't the answer to just go at your own pace and enjoy it for what the gameplay has to offer? And then there's some guy said, you know, do we get health care with this job or something like that? So yeah, uh, I think they were thinking, hey, this is great. We have so many challenges that people can grind all day. They're not going to get bored. Well, you're not respecting the player's personal time. No one wants to play your game for 16 to 18 hours. They want to get enough XP to play or to level up, but they don't want to play your game all day. That's stupid. It's unhealthy. Just playing 8 hours a day, playing half the time required to beat all the daily challenges is extremely destructive to your life if you're not if you don't have a job, you don't go to school. Most people are going to be able to clock in 2 hours. That's nothing for XP. So yeah, I hate to see this. It's very destructive to your player base, and it's very disrespectful of their personal time. So, but this seems to be the way that game companies are going. Just trying to monopolize as much of your time as possible, make leveling up frustrated so that you pay. It's a shame. I hate to see it. And like that one guy said, whatever happened to just playing a game because it's fun. So, next up, MVC2. We have some new news on this front. So this is an article from Shack News. So recently what happened is a lot of fighting game players have been vocal about bringing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 to the newer generation of consoles. For those of you that don't know, the original Marvel vs. Capcom 2 came out on Dreamcast and PlayStation 2, and the arcade a long time ago. I want to say it had to be either late. It was probably early 2000s. And the game is a mainstay in the fighting game community, especially the Marvel community. So people just want to play it on a new console. So a few years back, it came out on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. And I think people would be fine with the same version coming out on newer consoles. But let's take a look at what the someone at the studio who worked on the last remake said. Shack News head of video Greg Burke was speaking with Mike Mika, studio head at Digital Eclipse. when he inquired about the fan campaign to get Marvel vs. Capcom 2 remastered. Though the original game was developed by Capcom and Backbone Entertainment, Digital Eclipse handled the 2009 port of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 for the Xbox 360 and PS3, making them the last studio to have their hands on the game. The reaction was incredible, and I know that both Disney and Capcom have seen that loud and clear. We have begun some discussions on that right now, and we're trying to see how far we can go. Mika said, confirming that there has been at least the slightest movement towards making the MVC2 remaster a reality. That said, the right to a new Marvel vs. Capcom project lies with Disney and Capcom. Both sides will need to come to an agreement for any further progress to happen. We've got an update on the campaign to remaster Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but it still might be a long ways away for future update. Okay, so yeah, that was the update. You know, I appreciate that people are keeping up with this. It's something that is very near and dear to me, keeping fighting game communities alive. Doesn't matter how old the game is. If there's people that want to play it, why not just remake it? I know it's hard because Disney is involved now. And we saw what happened to the last Marvel Infinite game. It just flopped so bad because they took away the comic book style and they tried to make it MCU, and it looked horrible. So yeah, let's hope that they remake it and people can play, because there's people still holding Marvel vs. Capcom 2 tournaments. So it's a great game. And also, for those of you that are into Marvel vs. Capcom 3, like myself, there's a group called Tampa Never Sleeps. Look them up on Twitch. They run tournaments all the time. It's awesome. So yeah, that's it for this week. If you liked the episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you all next time. Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Games I Speak. If you liked the episode, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.